afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your closing bell for Monday, August 29th, 2022. And what a week and weekend here at ECSI. Anyone that was following us, we had a hell of a week. On the bases, 6-1 for the week. The Guardians cost us two big parlays yesterday. We gave out the over 9.5 Padres and Royals. It was almost 20 runs, 20 plus runs scored in that game. We had the Cardinals money line minus 122 and the run line plus 166. Our dog of the day, Guardians, cost us. And all weekend, they go 1-3 in Seattle. Their three losses were all because of the long ball. And yesterday, a 3-run homer given up, I think, in the fourth, and then a solo shot, and that was enough. But, if you listened here, or you're part of the VIPs, you had Rory McIlroy, 10-1 pre-flop, 13th in the last 2 years pre-flop at ECSI. And let's go back to Thursday. Triple bogey. He was 11 shots back before Scheffler even got to the first tee. And then if you woke up Sunday morning, you're like, no chance, 6 back. And wouldn't you know, if you came back to the back 9, all tied up. Listen, Scheffler had an amazing year. And absolutely, if he would have won, he would have won like $34 million. He broke the record anyways for 1 year. I have talked at length to anyone that wants to listen about Rory McIlroy. When he came onto the scene, he was supposed to be the next Tiger Woods, which no one will ever be or duplicate. Became that rock star. And anyone that wants to listen, he just has another level or gear in that bag that no one else has. There's a lot of tournaments that he's out on Sunday. He has no chance to win. He'll still go out, aim at pins, shoot 61, 62, 63. He did it at the Masters. There's just no tournament this guy is out, and you either love him or hate him. And the hardest part for me is when we are investing and wagering in golf, is leaving him off the board because you usually don't get that value. And, you know, the only way you got some kind of value, people probably thought you were crazy. I think, you know, you were 6 shots back at the weighted tournament the way this one started. It was a hell of a way to end the week. We had a huge week here. As you see, I'm smiling. We call it Envelope Monday. So enough from me. Let's bring him in from the Windy City himself, our co-host, the one and only Mr. Riley Magnuson. Afternoon, Riley.
Afternoon, my friend. Happy Monday. Happy Envelope Monday to you. Credit to the Rory pick. Condolences to anyone that had any Sung J M action with the double on 14. If you had any Sung, I didn't hear too many people have Sung J, but if you did, condolences to you. And yeah, it was a hell of a tournament, man. I did not expect the type of fireworks we had, or as many guys in play on Sunday as we had. I mean, up until the last, the back 9, there were still 4 or 5 guys that were in contention. So, hell of a tournament. You had the golf and baseball covered. I had a hell of a Saturday, opening Saturday at college football. So, it's a nice start to my week as well. I'm looking forward to a nice big fat slate Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and maybe even a little bit on Sunday. I might. I'm not sure about that as well. But nonetheless, I'm ready to rock and roll. A few games today for baseball. I think we're done with preseason, right, for NFL. So last bit of prep for the last 10 days before things get rolling. So things are heating up, and I'm ready to go, my friend.
And we talked on Friday. We didn't talk on Saturday. Hats off to you for the last 10 days, 2 weeks, talking about Northwestern. And again, I stayed off the game. It was 14 Friday night. You wake up, it's down to 11, where I thought that's where the number should be. Listen, I bleed red. I've been a fan since the early 80s. The last decade plus has been disgusting. I did applaud the Scott Frost hiring. I thought he got an extra year coming into this year. It's do or die. So we had to sit in our shit for a year. And then 28-17, they are rolling. And for some reason, he thought that it was a great spot for an onside kick. the rest was history. And then he throws Mark Whipple and the offensive coordinator and the offensive staff under the bus. I mean, what was he smoking crack? I mean, how can he do that?
I can count on one hand how many worse onside kick decisions I've seen in any level of football at that point. I mean, for anyone who's watched football, you got the sense, too, where it was kind of a back and forth. They were at that point teetering on the 4-point to 11-point swing. They get the fumble on the big Northwestern play, which feels deflating, and then within, 2-3 plays, maybe in the first or second play after that, you get the big play for the touchdown. You feel like the game is in control and it's over, and all you got to do is kind of just get a couple stops and, maybe don't turn the ball over in horrendous fashion a couple times, and the game is yours. And you let them right back into it, and it was I can count on one hand how many worse onside kick decisions I've seen throughout my 26 years of life, almost 27 years of life. So, the leash obviously has gotten shorter for him. I still think this doesn't mean, in my opinion, that they're going to go on and win another 3-4 games like they did last year. I think offensively there was some stuff that you can pick out from there, and obviously some clear defensive adjustments that need to be made, because Northwestern, a putrid offense from last season, coming in and doing what they did is not a good sight if you're a Nebraska fan or anyone that's interested in Nebraska. So I'm not jumping ship totally and saying they're going to go in the dumpster like they did last year. I think some of those one-score games will translate into a few wins this year, but the schedule, I mean, this is one of the most winnable games on your schedule for the entire Big Ten. So to come out with an Atlantic goose egg like this in the second half like they did is obviously an embarrassment. And, I don't know. What needs to happen? What happens for him to lose his job? Do they wait the entire season? If he's 3-5 through 8 weeks, is he gone? I mean, what's the take as far as that is concerned from you?
Well, my take why he threw the OC under the bus, because the OC was supposed to be a breath of fresh air to take a lot of pressure off of him. It's a head coach that's very well respected for his offensive thought process.
Yeah.
I'm not calling him Josh McDaniel or a genius or some of these other guys, but here's my take why he threw him under the bus. If they have that short lease and they fired him after 2, 3, 4 games this year, at least you could tell Mark, hey, can you do us a favor and then just be the head coach for the rest of the year? We'll figure it out after, because he is coached. He coached at UMass. It's not Big Ten. Right. And he had the audacity to say that too. He's like, hey guys, I think you got to get a little more creative. This is basically saying, this ain't UMass, pal. This is Big
Right.
Ten. And it was just, I tell you what, if they had the chance to switch coaches on the plane, they would have grabbed the Northwestern coach. They left Scott Frost at the damn pub. And here's why I feel, and there were some people saying, Jesus, guys, it's only been one game. It's not the fact that it was one game. They lost all those games by one possession, okay? You had to sit in your shit for a year. We've been waiting for a year for this. You had an 11-point lead in the second half. The control of the game was right there, and then you just gave it right back to them.
And it would be different if it would be Oklahoma for their first game, who they see in a few weeks, or Wisconsin or Penn State. It might be different, but this Northwestern team also won 3 games and was much, much worse. As much as I talked them up, and I think they're going to be a scrappy team this year, there's still no excuse for losing this game. You obviously saw me pumping the brakes as far as I think the first time we talked about it, I said I wouldn't be shocked, but I kind of was shocked as far as them getting that win, but. Yeah, it's when you're looking for a statement, it was obviously a black mark, and now they'll have what should be a couple easy wins, non-conference, North Dakota and then Georgia Southern the next 2 weeks before they play Oklahoma. So, maybe I guess Oklahoma is that redemption spot. If he wins that, then they're 3-1, then all is forgiven, I guess you would say. But I don't expect them to beat Oklahoma in that game, and then after that, you start off your season with a couple. For the most part, what you would consider cupcake schedule in the Big Ten. But November, you got Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Iowa, the last 4 games of the regular season, and that's not going to be an easy stretch right there. So, yeah, I don't know what to expect. I like I said, I do expect them to salvage something unlike last year and maybe win 5, 6, 7 games. But obviously, if you're Nebraska, you were looking for the at minimum 8 games won in the win column, let alone, obviously, you saw some people talking 9, 10 wins and winning the Big Ten West, which with a start losing to Northwestern, who's in that Big Ten West, is obviously not the start, and really puts you in a giant hole as far as winning the Big Ten West and getting into that title game at the end of the year there.
In the funny, and again, no disrespect to Northwestern, and I know it was a neutral field in Ireland, neutral game, excuse me. First game of the year, you kind of just throw it all out. And I say this tongue in cheek, a Northwestern team that I think got about 550 total yards. That tells me Ohio State would probably put up almost 1,000 yards.
I tweeted it. They somehow do not play them. I tweeted it, and it was in the first half. And what was their quarterback for Northwestern? I mean, he was not perfect in the first half, but he was great. His completion was fantastic. I said Stroud and Jackson Smith and Jigba would put 500 in the first half on this defense, man. And Nebraska's offense was when they did what they was working well. It was obviously moving the ball down the field, but then they kept running into those stacked boxes that was the only thing Northwestern was doing well. So, it's obviously some adjustments need to be made, but that's not the way to start things off. But as far as the other Big Ten team, Illinois, I think that might have been just as much as maybe the tide's turning as far as culturally for Illinois, but also I think Wyoming's going to have a rough year. What was that, 38-6 win? Their quarterback, I think, was if he didn't finish, he was at 1.5 for 20 with about 36 total yards passing. So I think it's going to be a rough one for Wyoming. I think a lot of people are going to be fading them, and I think it could be a rough season for them after obviously a nice, what they've built over the last decade or so. They just don't have the right quarterback. But Illinois, I think, is going to be a scrappy team that's going to be flawed that you're going to see coming out. So don't be planning the parade for Illinois because they put up 38 points on Wyoming. But it was at least optimism from what I've seen. Like I told you, there's always those non-conference games that Illinois has, whether it's Mountain West teams, MAC teams coming in, and they lay a stinker under past coaching regimes. So it was at least nice to see him do what they did, and I called it with Chase Brown. I think he had about $150 yards, so I was spot on with that prediction. But quarterback play, I'm not sure. It was kind of about what I expected. Nothing special. Not going to lose you the game, but it's probably going to set them back as far as the actual Big Ten schedule once that comes, which I believe they've got Indiana this upcoming week. They got Virginia before they've got Indiana, and then but I mean that game against Virginia is going to be a tough one for sure. So I can't wait. We've got a hell of a slate this upcoming week as far as not only the Big Ten but the rest of the college football slate as well, my friend.
And we played one play. There was a couple games that the lines moved a lot. The Nebraska fell 3 points. The Illinois game got up to 14. And the Vanderbilt game got up as high as 9.5. And then when I checked the first half number, Vanderbilt was favored by 6. So that's a go sign for us here. We took Vanderbilt -6 first half. Hawaii comes out, takes a 7-0 lead. Vanderbilt then puts the heat on them, makes it 14-7, 14-10, 21-10. That was the final at half. We cash. I roll over, go to bed. Vanderbilt's outscored Hawaii in the second half 42-0.
I did about the same thing. I was kind of keeping an eye out just from entertainment, and if it got to a nice spot, I was going to turn it on. I watched some of the first half, and then it got out of hand there in the second half. I think that's I think that's more on Hawaii than it is Vanderbilt. I don't think Vandy's going to be knocking on the door and knocking anybody's ruining anybody's SEC seasons as far as when that thing comes to town. I got to correct myself though. Illinois does have Indiana this upcoming Friday. I was looking at things wrong. Indiana and then Virginia, but nonetheless, that last one, the slate went way downhill this from an entertainment perspective pretty quick after the Nebraska and Northwestern game there. So. I think we'll have some different tides as far as entertainment is concerned this upcoming week at college football.
Yeah, I can't wait. Again, and if I'm not mistaken, Riley, and let me just pull it up so I know if I'm correct, because I think it's Labor Day weekend. Okay, so you got Thursday. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games Thursday. I know there's games on Friday. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got the big slate on Saturday, and then they used to go Sunday and Monday. Let me see if they
They do.
did.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
I
So
got a
we
couple
got
good ones. Yeah, Florida State LSU on that Sunday evening, and then Clemson Georgia Tech. So I guess I should say Power 5 conference games at least, as opposed to conference Power 5 versus a mid major. So, but LSU -3 on that Sunday, so that one actually should be good. I'm interested to see where both of those teams are at. That one actually should be an interesting one.
and they'll probably be saying the same thing if LSU loses and in comes Mr. Kelly. I was going to say Chip Kelly, Brian Kelly, whatever Kelly you want to call him. He won't be doing his southern drawl and his jig at that game.
Family. But yeah, I can't wait. I mean, only as far as ranked teams, I'm not sure. I know obviously Ohio State, Notre Dame, but I think that one's going to be over with pretty quickly, if you ask me. I know I'm the Big Ten guy, but I think that one's going to be all Ohio State pretty quick there.
Me and Julian Edlow have been talking about that game for a while, and we're just waiting for them to put up the team total for Ohio State. We're hoping it's in that 36 and a hook, maybe 37. I mean, this team is going to be a wagon, and they're just going to score early and often. And you know what? Again, no disrespect to Notre Dame. I don't think there's a number that they can put up there. I guess the number that would pump the brakes on the Ohio State side would be 21 and a hook. I mean, everyone would say, okay, I'll take the 3 touchdowns plus the hook. Let's start now, and then let's hope and pray.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was going to say. And really, no disrespect to Notre Dame. I think it's Alabama and Ohio State right now. Who's to be number 1, number 2, I don't know. And then maybe Georgia, maybe Clemson right in the next tier. And then after that, it is a giant gap, if you ask me. And right now, I think Ohio State, that's been my prediction. I think they are going to be the number 1 team and the best team at the end of things. I mean, did you see, though, speaking of predictions and Final Four predictions, did you see Desmond Howard's Final Four that he put up on College Game Day? Pitt, Michigan. I don't even remember who the other 2 were. A&M, which isn't the craziest thing in the world, but and then a 4th one. But my goodness, I have not seen a wilder college football prediction in quite some time over there.
No, and when I was putting together that champions parlay at the Circa, I got a huge $100 to make 11,000. That's with Bama, Astros, and the Bills. Now, I can imagine if I took Ohio State, which was my second pick, and they were probably plus 600 or something. So I would be looking at even more. Again, when Nick Saban talks about last year as a rebuilding year and they lost to Georgia in the championship game, which, listen, Ohio State, I had them the year with the running back. They beat Bama.
Wasn't Zeke still there? Was it?
It was Zeke.
Okay, yeah.
And my accountant walked into the room into the house. He was all set to take Alabama, and I says it's an Ohio State number, and we were shocked. And Ohio State won that game. But this Bama team with Willie Anderson and company, now they are banged up at the wide receiver. Which will be interesting. I talked to a few Bama people, and I was like, the difference between Bama of late versus Bama of old is they're bringing in the Kiffins of the world, the Bill O'Briens of the world, and they're getting these athlete wide receivers that once they get the ball in space, they can't be caught.
Right. No, it's usually I am a fan of change and parity, but I really think that potential matchup of Alabama Ohio State is going to be an all-time classic, honestly. Offense, defense, and I've told you how high I am on Jackson Smith and Jigma this year. So I think those 2 are honestly. I think it's the close. I don't like to use the lock word, but it's as close as I have to a lock as far as both those teams being there at the last bell for the college football championship.
Short slate today. And again, to be perfectly 100% honest, we passed in MLB today for the ECSI VIPs. Mondays have not been good to us. I did throw out an Alcaraz, right? Alcaraz, I forget how you pronounce the exact name. Plus 550 to win the men's U.S. Open. I gave that one out. Baseball, of course, there's one game that jumps out at me. And I know you'll be talking about that one. I think the interesting game for me, obviously, is the Red Sox with Balo back as a starter against, is it Dylan Bundy or Al Bundy? That line is dropping. A few games that you can't really get into. They're baiting you to get into the Marlins. Everyone, again, that's the public trendy dog. Alcantara's plus 185 beats them 2-1. Now, in comes Lopez, who you know, and anyone that wants to listen knows that since the All-Star break has really had some rough moments. He thought he was going to be traded, but a handful of games on the docket, the Jekyll and Hyde, Mr. Berrios against those pesky Cubs, against Jay Assad. I don't know how to pronounce it. So
I'll go with that, I think.
The board is yours.
All right, well, let's start in Miami there for the first one up. I think that one and the Cards and Reds are the first two up at the same time there, 5:40 my time, 6:40 your time. Michael Grove for the Dodgers versus Pablo Lopez, as you mentioned. You're right, hasn't been as good. Last start out was better, but it was against the Oakland A's, so you make of that whatever you would like to. 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 5 Ks for Lopez last time. This is game number 4 of this series, actually. The rare Monday game number 4 of the series here. Dodgers have taken 2 out of 3. Travel to the Mets tomorrow. I'm not touching this one either. I can understand the skepticism and the interest in Miami, but as you said, Pablo Lopez, I could absolutely see getting blown up like a Christmas tree in this one. Is that really what's keeping you from this one, or is there something else to add on this one?
It's drop again. There's certain numbers that you need to understand are set to get the right flow. And you know, if they open this at 155, 160, you know, that you would have had the Dodger onslaught. Instead, they open it up around 180, 190, and in comes, you know, Grove, who I don't know much about, number one. Number 2, Pablo Lopez was a lightning rod back. He's not Alcantara, but he was a part of that dynamic duo. If you wanted to take the Dodgers full game run line, it's an under-over of now 7.5, juice over 115. I don't have a problem with that. Listen, if you think there's value in Miami and you think they're going to get to 4 today, then God bless you. Go take the dog. Yeah. It's Monday. It's a new week. People get itchy, especially if they had a bad week. They want to get their money back, and what better than Monday? It's a Dodger run line or nothing for me.
Okay. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. I think what keeps me away from it is, and I don't typically like to play the human aspect of it, but just seeing the Mets upcoming, traveling to the Mets for 3. Really, if they win that series, you can basically close the book if you haven't already on the 1 seed in the NL. So that's really what would keep me away from it, maybe looking ahead. But yeah, this Miami team, just when you think they're the team, the dog of the day, they'll put up a single run on a wild pitch, and that's about all she wrote for the Marlins on that day. So I'm going to keep myself out of this one. But going to the next one, Cincinnati, potentially one of your favorite rules of the entire season, especially this season. Mikolas versus Chase Anderson, I do believe it is, for the Reds. Anderson, first start of 2022. He last 2 years not very good for him, but obviously this is his first start of 2022. Was with Philly last year, Toronto the year before that, I think. Mikolas last time out 6 2/3, 6 hits, 5 allowed, only 3 of them earned. However, is this your spot? Cardinals last night on Sunday Night Baseball. Do you have enough faith in this Reds team? Typically, there's at least when the team to back in this is typically a little bit more less of a tough pill to swallow than the Cincinnati Reds. But is Chase Anderson and the Reds doing it for you here tonight at home against the Cards?
Well, we all know, people here, you bet against the team that travels after the late night ESPN game. That's the Cards. I think if we go back 2 weeks ago, the Mets or the Yankees, I think it was probably the Yankees, was that team, and they traveled. They were minus 200. They lose. Listen, on paper, Mikolas and the Cards, 74 and 54, 20 games over 500. The Reds, 50 and 76, 26 games under 500. If you can do some quick math for me, Riley, the Reds started out 2 and 22, correct? Or 2 and 23, right?
I want to say 3. I think you're shorting them a win there. I think it was 3 and 23.
3 and 22. Okay. So that puts them at 47 wins and 44 losses.
What was it? 3 and 23 or 3 and 22? So 54 losses.
Okay. still under 500. My point is they're not as
Yeah.
bad as it actually looks.
Right.
Again, I think you have an out in this game, though. It's an under over a 9.5, juiced under minus 115. The Reds team total is 3.5. So here's what I suggest. If you're going to play this game, you take the Reds, you're going to get them plus around 180, 185. And you also take the Reds team total over 3.5. At worst, you get a split. You're getting the big dog, and we're just riding this out. Listen, it's not a lock. There's no such thing as a lock. No. But this is hitting over 70% this year.
Yeah. No, I mean, especially lately, it's been absolutely on fire. There's been shorter distances traveled that have worked in the favor of the fading team. So the St. Louis to Cincinnati travel doesn't sound like a ton, but it's more than you realize. We had the Padres to LA or vice versa, one of those, and it still worked out. So, I like the advice as far as looking at the 3.5 as well. I see 185, 190 DraftKings and FanDuel for the full game money line there. So, and Mikolas, obviously 10-10 on the season. Not a punching bag every single time, not a world beater every single time. So definitely a guy that you can beat. As far as this Reds lineup is concerned. So.
And I just want to say this as well to all those Brewer fans out there. The Cardinals now have a 7-game lead. And I hear the trumpets, and I'm not talking about Diaz entering the building either.
No, I think you're 100% right. I've had the Cardinals ticket, a division ticket for a while, so I'm chomping at the bit for that one. Going to Toronto for the next one. Cubs and Toronto. Interleague matchup in this one. You mentioned Assad versus Berrios. Assad, second start so far this season in his career, actually, will be tonight. 4 hits, 0 earned runs, 4 walks over 4 innings last time out versus the Cardinals. Berrios, good the last 2, 1 earned run and 2 earned runs allowed. And the Blue Jays, actually, if you didn't see, lost all 3 games to the Angels this weekend. Are we trusting the Blue Jays here in a bounce-back spot, or are you a little too worried about Berrios to feel comfortable or fully comfortable, confident in this bounce-back spot at the price we're looking at for the Blue Jays here?
I keep talking about they were going to be the outside team looking in, and they got gifted a 5-game slate. Listen, they got swept by the Angels, who have just mailed it in. Listen, anyone wants to go to the window and expect a bounce back, go ahead, go play the run line. The under-over is at 9. I assume if you have it in front of you that the Toronto team total is probably 5.5 today. Would that be right?
Let's see if I can get it real quick. Let's see. Team total is 5.5 on DraftKings plus 110.
I mean, they got to get the touchdown. Don't care about the extra point, the 2-point conversion. I just don't like to bet on the come. This team is struggling. It's struggling right now. Yeah. And I don't think you need to get in. Let them prove it to you tonight and then start going back to the well Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But they are not playing, and they're definitely not hitting well.
No, and I mean, a third straight Berrios start where he was good the last 2 is enough to scare me away the way he's been going. He had the 1 month of consistency. Aside from that, there hasn't really been 3 in a row where he's put up a solid start. So that's going to keep me away from it. I could see the Blue Jays hitting Assad in this one. I don't really know what to expect there. But, yeah, it's the pricing, it's not doing it for me on this one for the Blue Jays here. So moving to I don't think they're in your neck of the woods, but the team that resides in your neck of the woods, heading to Minnesota for this one, the Red Sox and the Twins. Bello and Bundy, you talked about him a little bit already. Bello better last time out, probably the best showing we've seen from him, right? And Bundy, another guy kind of similar to Berrios. He, in his case, 4 straight of 2 earned runs or less allowed. Any interest in the Red Sox and maybe beating up Dylan Bundy here in this one, or are you seeing anything else in this one?
Seeing the opening number of 9 that has dropped to an 8.5 over minus 120. An overnight number of Bundy minus 160, now 115. This line's been dropping the whole day. Sox in that spot again. Me and Scotty talked about it on Sunday. They had already won the series. They won the first 2. They just can't sweep and close the deal. They made 2 moves. They sent 2 guys down to Worcester. They're bringing 2 kids up. They have officially waved the flag. They're trying to find out what they got in that back end. Um, listen, I've been saying all along, I think the Bello kid has gone down to Worcester a couple times, worked on some stuff. I think he's been pitching a lot better, I should say.
Yeah.
You should have Whitlock back there. I just don't like how this number is slowly going down. The value on tonight is Minnesota, but I'm going to stay away. Listen, I think the Sox and Bello probably would be the play. They're really baiting you into this one. That's all.
Yeah, and it's becoming betting on the Red Sox is becoming kind of a tough pill to swallow right now. And really, the one thing that would interest me is some Dylan Bundy regression. That's where if you're talking me into any play on the Red Sox, it's because of that. Less and maybe Bello is good, but Bundy 4 straight in a row. It really signals to me maybe he should be due for some regression, but maybe not. I don't know.
Can you get the Sox team? Actually, I looked at this and I was priced out. I was 3.5 over minus 150. Did they move it to 4, or do you have a better number?
145 minus 145. But if you think they're gonna really torch Bundy, you can get over 2.5 at plus 135. So they're saying, if the full game after Bundy goes out, they're not gonna do much to the bullpen, obviously, right?
Hold on, what was the first 5?
2.5 at plus 135.
That was like your what game did I tell you to take that one?
Was that last week? Was it the
Last
Phillies?
week. Was it the
Phillies?
Yes.
Phillies, right?
It was the same thing, right? 3.5.
I think it was something similar, but like I said, this was the one I was interested in because if Bundy's regressing here, then he's given up at least 3 through the first 4 innings, let alone 5 innings there.
So you're getting 2.5 at plus
135.
That's your play right there.
I think so. Yeah. So.
And by the way, you didn't retweet it, and shame on me for not retweeting it. I know we didn't do a show on Sunday. Hats off on the Sandera homer.
Oh, Santander?
Yes,
that what
Santander,
it was?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. I guess I I might not have even realized that what happened. But the Twins also any interest in both ways? Maybe over 2. They also over 2.5 plus 115. More confidence in the Red Sox first 5 as opposed to the Twins. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Next one up is last I checked, Pittsburgh and Milwaukee. Last I checked, Pittsburgh was undecided. Is that the same thing you are seeing there?
B. Wilson.
Oh, okay. That is B. Wilson then versus Corbin Burns. I believe this is the biggest number we've got on the board today, about minus 335 for the Brewers. Any way to get into this one, or any interest in the Pirates against the Brewers, or are you just moving right along for this one?
B. Wilson, Flip Wilson, Charlie Wilson. I'm passing.
Yeah,
actually, he's been getting beat up pretty good. Wilson. What's the Brewers team total? 4.5 over.
Let's see. The full game is at 7.5. The Brewers is over 4.5 at minus 135. There. Yep.
Yeah. No, I just stay away. Brewers are not playing good.
No, and I mean, that would usually lead me into maybe considering the other side, but the Pirates are, the Pirates might be the biggest don't bet team right now in all of baseball, in my opinion.
And the Red Sox.
And the Red Sox, yeah. Next one up, Yankees and the Angels. We just talked about the Angels sweeping the Blue Jays this past weekend. Yankees split with the A's, actually, out of a 4-game series. They've got Montas on the mound tonight for the Yankees, Suarez for the Angels. Montas solid last time out. I believe I think he's had 4 starts and seesawed a little bit. Confidence that he's going to, kind of trend towards maybe 2 good starts in a row, or any interest in the Angels after a sweep of Toronto over the weekend?
Montas looked good his last start. Angels a little high off the horse. The only thing, coming from Toronto now back home, I think Yankees just sitting here waiting. A Yankee run line minus whatever it is, first 5 or full game, I would lean there. I just don't forget too, Frankie Montas coming from Oakland. They've seen him, a bazillion times, and so You'll know early. So get close to that live bet button, because if Montas gives up a 3 or 4 runs in the first, you got to look to bail out. But I lean the Yankee side. But again, I'm not too confident. I just don't like the Toronto back home to LA, and
Right.
I'll take a swing. Montas back-to-back good starts.
Right. And I mean, even the Angels are one of these teams where they put together a few. They've certainly passed the realm of figuring the season out, obviously, but they're a team that you could put in the category, oh, maybe a little momentum. They're a team that we can back. And then the second you think that, then they lose 4 out of the next 5. So maybe that's what we see this weekend. I'm not sure. The next last two, I should say, of the evening, Philly and Arizona. Suarez for Philadelphia, as opposed to LA's Suarez, going up against Bumgarner for the Diamondbacks here. Bumgarner, obviously, if you've been paying attention, has not been very good at all this season. He's got a 6-13 record, 4.53 ERA. Obviously, has not been going well. But the Arizona Diamondbacks, much like the Angels, come into Chicago and sweep my White Sox in a ugly, ugly showing from my boys there. So, anything out of you from this game here? Philly's about -190 against Bumgarner here. Anything you like out of this one?
Well, again, we talk about quicksand Sunday, and yesterday was the case. There were 5 or 6 huge dogs that came in. Dogs were barking loud. I had a few of them on my timeline. I think it's a good spot for Philly to bounce back. Arizona feeling a little, again, like I talked about the Angels, I think the same thing with Arizona. I think you can get a Phillies first 5 minus the hook, Phillies full game minus the run line. And you could probably, what are the Phillies team total? Did they move it? Is it 4.5, or are they getting queued here?
Let's see. It looks like, 4.5 -135. Couple spots have it up to 5.
They're telling you they're going to get to 5. They might get the touchdown. I think it's a Phillies all day here.
Yeah, I think so. And what, they kind of ended a little bit of a winning streak against Pittsburgh yesterday. Took 2 out of 3 from Pittsburgh. So, I think I'm with you on that one for sure. And I mean, like I said, Bumgarner, you can basically pencil him in for 3-4 runs right now. Last one up on the evening. Decent pitching matchup here in this one. Padres and Giants. Giants, another team after getting to the back to the 500 mark. 4 straight losses over the weekend. This team has obviously been pretty frustrating. They've got Rodon on the mound tonight versus Clevenger. The Giants still about -126. I'm seeing here. Line has kind of been moving down. They opened up a little bit higher than that, I do believe. What you seeing on this one? Total right now about 7.5 for the full game.
Overnight number of San Fran -145. And you guys really got to think this one out here. A Padres team that's just been so inconsistent. Gave up 2 touchdowns yesterday against the Royals. A team just flopping in the breeze. Clevenger, who did show some good starts. Kind of the whole team's in turmoil. I was talking to my San Diego guy yesterday. Again, I hate to bring up Josh Hader, but he goes out there one third of an inning, gives up another 6 runs. There's something wrong there, guys. The Brewers knew that this spring. You took the banana in the tailpipe at the trade deadline, and you just need to shut him down the rest of the year and hope it's not Tommy John. And if it is, you move on from him. So my daughter is now a freshman at UConn. Today was her first day of classes. She's asking me about, do I like the Padres today? And I'm like, who the hell are you talking to? Now, my oldest daughter, who graduated, would always ask me, periodically, hey, Dad, what do you think about this? And I knew she was talking to some people. My daughter just got there on Friday. Oh, it's my friend Derek. And I'm like trying to explain to her. The overnight number was 145 for a reason. They wanted Padre money. I was like, the Giants have the starting pitching edge. The Padres are a mess. I was just like, stay away from the game and don't talk to him anymore.
Yeah, probably. I haven't gotten much out of her like that in the last 10 years. But the first day of classes, she's reaching out to you for some winners, huh? I love it. Hader, 23 ERA since joining the Padres. It is a ugly numbers for him. 4 2/3 innings total, 12 runs. It is something is obviously wrong there. So Did you have a lean there? Sorry, I missed if we liked anything there.
It's a giant number, meaning it
Yeah.
was 145 overnight. I would lean Giants first five. I like the Giants to win this game again. Now, listen, Padres, they gave you that number for a reason because they needed Padre money. Listen, can the Padres win tonight? Absolutely. Can Clemens just spin one? Absolutely. I just think that it was minus 145 for a reason, guys.
Yeah, and I think Rodon's been in a rhythm. Obviously, I have gotten a close look at his career. It seems like he's kind of in a rhythm that, until further notice, I think he's going to stay in that rhythm. So, maybe obviously it's not going to get them into the playoffs, but I kind of trust Rodon in this one. But it still wouldn't shock me if San Diego put up a nice number offensively there. But I believe that is just about anything for the baseball action today, my friend. Anything else to mention?
No, I haven't talked to you behind the scenes. I will just tell you it's the same schedule, but with some changes. In other words, Scotty won't be available till Sunday. I will be dark on Friday and Saturday. I might do a quick live remote from New York City, but I'll have you enjoy the Labor Day weekend. So what we'll probably end up doing is we'll do a bell on Tuesday, probably a bell on Wednesday, figure out Thursday accordingly. And I got some good news for you. Probably on Fridays when we do the bell at 4 or 4:30, we will have a guest on the back half of the show, Mr. Lucky himself.
Okay.
We'll be talking some NFL, and he's in the Circa contest. So the last half hour will be Lucky's Corner, hopefully sponsored by, Lucky's Locks and Bagels. So if we have a coffee or bagel shop up there that wants to sponsor that, reach out here. So I thought I'd give you that good news too.
That sounds good to me. It sounds like a hell of a week, both on the show and wherever you're traveling. So I can't wait, my friend.
So for myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from the one and only Mr. Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson, the one. We wish everyone a blessed evening. Remember, guys, it's Monday. It's the last couple of days of August. You made it to September. But that's just the start. Myself and Riley want you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. So if you do have a problem, pick up the phone. There is an 800 number. Ask for help. Trust me, guys, it can get like quicksand. And you get above your skis, you start doubling and tripling up, and then next thing you know, you hit the ATM, you get the withdrawals, and then you're looking at your statement, you don't remember it. You're the guy with the pizza on the oven on Friday nights. You're on the couch Friday night. Guys, we care. And just stay in your lanes. You're not going to make $1 million. Trust me. And you're not going to hit the 26-legged parlay, $10 to make $1 million. It just doesn't happen. They're photoshopped. And Marty Lowe, we're shouting out to Marty here. Yes, go Huskies. Started that game 14-0. They lost 31-20, but they covered. That's all that matters. And yes, the Roll Tide will beat Utah State. Our buddy, Billy H. from Louisiana, will be our guests. We got him 2 tickets on his anniversary week for his beautiful bride, Rebecca. They will be on the 45-yard line, 12 rows back, for Roll Tide versus Utah State. So enjoy that, Mr. Hewlin. And everyone else here, listen, myself will be back tomorrow morning at 10:20 with Julian Edlow. And then myself and Riley will be back around 4 o'clock for the closing bell. Any comments, questions, concerns, you can send them via email at eastcoastsportsinvestors@gmail.com. If you need to rewatch this, you can go to YouTube or Twitch at East Coast Sports Investors, or you can go via podcast to your favorite spot, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We're there as well. So thank everyone for watching. Marty, Roll Tide, I hope you did well on your fantasy football. Any more questions? I sent an update to everyone for the last projections before the season starts. That's it. Have a good night, and we'll see you in the morning.